Mystery boxes. They've been a staple of revival Doctor Who since 2005. From Russell T Davies's scattered words like Torchwood, Bad Wolf and Saxon to the more elaborate mysteries of the Stephen Moffat era. And that's not changing now because we already have many mystery boxes that Russell T Davies has set up, more so than possibly at all in his previous era. So in this video, I'm going to take you through each of the mysteries that he has already set up in just 4 episodes that will stretch into the next season and possibly beyond. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Phil, welcome to my channel where I like to talk about all the geeky pop culture that I like to consume, and that's a lot of Doctor Who, and other stuff, but a lot of Doctor Who. So if you like Doctor Who videos, click below and subscribe. Now, we're talking about mystery boxes. There have already been several set up for the ongoing future Ncuti Gatwas series, being referred to as Season 1. And I'm going to take you through all the ones that I've spotted so far. Let me know if I've missed any. Now, this does feel a bit like a little bit of a different tact for Russell T Davies, because previously, while he has had these mystery boxes, he's scattered words that were meant to go, oh, wonder what that means, throughout various episodes of a season to culminate in the season finale. That was kind of his MO with the mystery boxes, but what he's doing this time kind of feels a bit more elaborate, a bit more like a Moffat style mystery boxes. Moffat stirred up stuff that stretched over multiple seasons. The cracks in time, the silence, all of that was set up and utilised throughout the whole of the Matt Smith era, and in some instances beyond into Capaldi's era too. So this kind of feels like it might be a bit like that, like we might be getting something that will stretch over multiple seasons, but we'll see. It might all get wrapped up in the first season, who knows. So the first of these mystery boxes is, who is Ruby's mum, or who is the person that deposited her on that church on Christmas Day that we assume is her mum, and the narration from the Doctor also assumes it's her mum too. Speculation on this has run wild on the internet. There are all sorts of random theories, and some of them that are like, it could be Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter. Maybe she has returned and she has a daughter, which would make Ruby the Doctor's great-granddaughter. Could be interesting. I'm not sure about the dynamics there. They feel a bit too buddy-buddy to be grandparent, great-grandparent, but who knows? This is Doctor Who. It could be the Rani, who, always gets mentioned in these things, but you never know. There is, however, I believe, some rights issues surrounding the Rani in terms of the estate that owns the rights to the Rani because of the writer that originally wrote them. I think there's been some issues with tracking down the estate or something. So the Rani might be off the table for now while they sort that up, or maybe they have already sorted it out and the Rani is finally back. Who knows? She gets brought up every time. The Rani is a Time Lord, for those that don't know, who is a scientist and does very unethical experiments, experimenting on people and all sorts of things. And Time Lord Scientist, Evil Time Lord Scientist was in 2 stories from the classic series and a charity special in 1993 celebrating where they crossed over with EastEnders. It was a thing. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. Could Ruby's mum be the 13th Doctor? Now, yes, there's not really any gap in the 13th Doctor's timeline, but hey, we've got bioregeneration, we've got multiple universes that we could play with. There's all sorts of things that could go on with this to create a situation where it could be the 13th Doctor. Now, the speculation for this has come from mainly the outfit that we can see under the cloak, which isn't much of the person depositing Ruby, and that is some heavy-duty boots, and you can see her ankles, which is a staple of the 13th Doctor. So, I mean, it might be stretching things a bit, but in a world where we could have a alternate universe version of the 13th Doctor, or if Russell does go down that whole every Doctor has bioregenerated thing, which I don't entirely understand his logic behind that, but let's stick with it. Maybe that could be the 13th Doctor, and Ruby is therefore a child of the Doctor, but maybe from another universe. It's a possibility. It could be River Song. Whether or not that's Alex Kingston's version of River Song from somewhere in her timeline before she went to the library, or if it's maybe some new incarnation of River Song that has been saved from the library and has a new body and a new look and played by a new actor. Maybe. If it's somebody from the past, maybe it's the Doctor's daughter as well. Who knows? They had 24 years on Beryllium. I'm sure they got up to a lot of stuff. I think it's safe to say that whoever this turns out to be, it's going to be the main driving force story arc mystery box of the series, at least of season 1. But given that Ruby is going to be in season 2 as well, that we know, at least a bit of it, then perhaps it stretches over into that as well. Perhaps this isn't all wrapped up in that first season. That I like story arcs that stretch over seasons and don't feel like they have to be wrapped up by the end of the season, so I wouldn't mind that, but let me know what you think. The next mystery is, who is Mrs. Flood? Mrs. Flood is Ruby's next door neighbour. We know that much, at least. But at the very end of the Church of Ruby Road, we get something that threw fans into a tizzy of wondering, who is this woman? Because she turns to the camera, directly addresses us and says,
"Never seen a TARDIS before."
She knows what TARDISes are. How does she know what TARDISes are? Who is this woman? Now, many of the speculations for who this could be are the same as Ruby's mum. It could be the Rani. It could be River Song. Flood equals river. You know, there's the water connection there. I doubt it's the 13th Doctor. Well, it's not the 13th Doctor, clearly. But, you know, many of the possibilities are the same. It could be the Master. It could be anybody that Ruby's mum could be. This could also be, probably. Or perhaps they are one and the same, and this is Ruby's mum. Perhaps Ruby's mum deposited her and then tracked her down later and made herself her next door neighbour so that she could keep an eye on her. That's another possibility. So it could be Susan, it could be Rani, it could be River, could be a time agent. It could be a time agent. It could be somebody from the time agency that knows. That's why she knows about TARDISes, because she's from the time agency. People from the time agency we have seen before know what TARDISes are. Or some of them do. Or she could be someone completely new. My best guess for this at the moment is that she is somebody that the Doctor and Ruby perhaps will encounter in Mrs. Flood's youth, in the 60s or something, and that will account for her line about not having seen a police box in 50 years. It will account for her knowing what a TARDIS is if she gets told about that in her past, but we will see it in a future episode. That's my best guess so far, rather than going anything too convoluted with returning characters. For Mrs. Flood, at least. But we'll see. Then we've got the mystery of Susan Twist. Now, this one is much more speculation of it being a mystery box than the rest, because all it really is at the moment is that an actor, Susan Twist, has played 2 characters in 2 episodes, only a handful of episodes apart. She was the person that Isaac Newton spoke to before going and sitting under his tree in The Wild Blue Yonder. And she was somebody in the crowd of the gig that Ruby was playing with her band, looking a bit like a hippie and calling out for a song request. Now that song request is important to this, because the song request is something called Gaudete, from my notes here, Gaudete, which the Latin translates from the Latin as rejoice all and is a Christmas carol from the 16th century. Why would somebody in a pop rock concert be requesting a carol from the 16th century to be played? That, combined with the reused actor, makes us think that maybe there's more to this woman than we think, than first appears. So could this woman be a time traveller? Could she have been in the 16th century? Could she have been in the, I think it's 17th century with Isaac Newton, and then now in the modern day? Or has she just lived that long? Is she immortal? Has she just been living all of that time, and the Doctor will find that out at some point in a future episode? Or maybe see her at some point in the middle. Maybe they'll meet her in the 60s as well when they go do the 60s episode that's coming up. So if she's been around all that time, and she's been waiting all that time, perhaps she is the one that waits. In The Giggle, the Toymaker talks to the Doctor about all the other people that he's been battling and having games with since he arrived in this universe, including the Master, which he imprisons in his gold tooth when the Toymaker wins and the Master loses. But there was one person he says that he was too scared to play a game against, and that is someone he only refers to as the one that waits, and we get no more information about that. So that's a whole nother mystery box. Who is the one that waits? Could it be Mrs. Flood? Could she have been waiting since the 16th century for something? For Ruby, for the Doctor, maybe for something completely different? Yeah, we don't know. The one that waits could also maybe refer to Ruby's mum. Maybe Ruby is waiting for that. Maybe Mrs. Flood is Ruby's mum. Who knows? Or maybe it's waiting. The one who waits is somebody that Ruby's mum was trying to protect her against by placing her in that church, by that church. Maybe somebody that was after them. Maybe that's the person that waits. I also forgot to mention another theory for Mrs. Flood, so I'll come back to it now. One theory for Mrs. Flood that I have seen, based purely on the way that she sits on her deck chair outside, is that it could be the White Guardian, because he also sits on a deck chair outside. And they both look quite chilled on deck chairs. I mean, it's a possibility. But if that is true, maybe the one who waits is the Black Guardian. Maybe we'll have a rematch between the White and Black Guardians in the upcoming season. We know we're dealing with big, supernatural, kind of fairy tale, other universe stuff in these coming seasons since the Salt incident, so maybe that's what's going to happen. Or, of course, it could just be a brand new evil force of some kind. Or maybe it'll be a good force. Who knows? Maybe they're going to twist that up and make us think it's going to be an evil thing, but actually it's a good person that's the one who waits. Yeah, maybe. The next mystery box is who picked up the gold tooth that imprisons the Master. Once again, this could be the Rani. I mean, the kind of red nails, it kind of feels like it suits her vibe a little bit, I guess. Very over the top and glam is the Rani. Another option that I've seen posited is that it could be Kate Stewart because of the red nails which she was wearing in that episode. I don't see why she would want to unless she was being somehow sort of subconsciously manipulated by the Master in the thing to kind of subliminal control of some kind. It could be the same person as the one who waits, or Mrs. Flood, or Susan Twist's character, or who knows, maybe they're all the same person. I think that's one thing we have to consider, is that all of these mysteries might actually be the same mystery, but at the moment they're being presented as separate things. I've got one more mystery for you, but before that, let me know what you think of these ones so far in the comments below. Let me know what your own speculations on what some of the answers to them might be, but also, do you think there's too many mysteries? Is there just the right amount of mysteries, or should there be more mysteries? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. And then the final mystery is, who is the boss? This is something that the Meep referenced in The Star Beast, the boss, who would be excited to find out that there's another creature with two hearts. Now, once again, this could be the same person as the one who waits, or it could be somebody completely different. And if you want to see more of my speculations on who it could be, check out this video here, which I made at the time, all about that, including some speculation about the Timeless Child that might be linked into it. And if you want to see more Doctor Who content from me, don't forget to click subscribe down below, share this video, like this video, and all that jazz. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.